Hello and welcome to What the F Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditas. Let's get to it. It's Friday, January 29th, 2021. Welcome to Day 10. Johnson & Johnson's single-dose COVID-19 vaccine was 66% effective overall at preventing moderate to severe illness, this according to a global study. In the U.S., the vaccine was 72% effective, but the efficacy rate dropped to 57% in South Africa, where a highly contagious variant of the virus is driving new cases. The vaccine was especially effective at stopping severe disease in all regions, preventing 85% of severe infections and 100% of hospitalizations and deaths. Johnson & Johnson said it planned to apply for emergency authorization of the vaccine from the FDA, putting it on track to receive clearance later in February. Meanwhile, the Trump administration spent $200 million to send more than 8,700 ventilators to countries around the world last year with no way to keep track of where they ended up. In only 12 of 43 countries did the federal government have a good idea where the ventilators are, and a Government Accountability Office report said it was unable to identify the Trump administration's criteria used for what ventilators went to what countries. Moving on, there are currently 106 pending Republican-backed bills across 28 states that would restrict access to voting, despite the 2020 election being the most secure in American history. Nearly a year ago, there were 35 restrictive bills pending across 15 states. In D.C., the FBI said 2 pipe bombs that were discovered on January 6th near the Democratic and Republican Party headquarters were planted the night before the insurrection at the Capitol. The reward for information leading to the location, arrest, and conviction of the person or people responsible for placing the bomb is now $100,000. Meanwhile, the Pentagon suspended the processing of a number of Trump's last-minute appointees to defense advisory boards. The move effectively prevents a number of Trump allies, including Corey Lewandowski and David Bossie, from serving on the panels for the time being. The Biden team is looking into whether it can replace dozens of Trump's last-minute appointments to boards and commissions across the government. Meanwhile, Vladimir Putin agreed to extend the New START nuclear arms control treaty between Russia and the United States for another 5 years, just a week before the pact was due to expire. The treaty limits each country to no more than 1,550 deployed nuclear warheads and 700 deployed missiles and bombers. Russia had long proposed prolonging the pact, but the Trump administration waited until last year to begin talks. And finally, the former FBI lawyer who admitted to doctoring an email that officials used to justify secret surveillance of a former Trump campaign advisor was sentenced to 12 months of probation. Kevin Kleinsmith admitted last August that he had altered an internal FBI email in the course of seeking a court's permission to continue government surveillance of Carter Page. He changed an email about Page so that it said he was not a source for the CIA when he had in fact been one. Prosecutors had asked that Kleinsmith spend several months in prison for his crime. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditas.